Welcome back, Summoners. Nova here, and today we're going to be talking about my experience at the Las Vegas RQ that just happened last weekend, my run, deck list, so on and so forth. I did want to start off by saying this event completely blew Houston out of the water. The judges were better, of course. Appeals judges were absolutely excellent. The atmosphere was electric, to say the least. And I had multiple people come up to me and be like, "Hey, I like your content." I signed 2 cards, like absolutely incredible. Um, I am just a random dude making content about a game that I enjoy playing at a high level, or I'm trying to get better at playing at a high level. And the fact that people come up to me and are like, "Hey, I like your content. Can you sign this for me?" I hope it was as special to them as it was to me. It was absolutely incredible. A couple guys in my team made metal cards. Talk about that later. My experience was pretty good overall. I really just played in the main event. I got in late Friday, so didn't do any side event grinding. But yeah, let's get right into it. So before we get into my information, we're going to talk about the tournament as a whole here. Meta breakdown, how things performed, what underperformed, so on and so forth. So the biggest thing that I want to call out here is the fact that top 8 was 7 purple decks. And then the Jacks, like this guy owned on Jacks. We'll get to that, believe me. But Chaos is pretty good. If you're not playing Chaos, you're probably just not playing the top, which is totally fine. I want to preface that. That's totally fine to play for metal cards. But this is something to keep in mind. If you are wanting to play for top 8 specifically, you probably should just be on Chaos deck, right? Draven, Aurelia, Ezreal, so on and so forth. As we can see here, we had 34% representation going into day 2 of our Draven, with only 15% of day 1. More than doubled our representation rate, which it's Draven, right? We don't really have to harp on this. Aurelia, slightly over-converted, pretty good. Kai'Sa, slightly over-converted. This was a surprise to me. Not a surprise. I expected Kai'Sa to convert a little less, just because I knew Miracle Engines were going to be very, very popular going into this event compared to mid-range Draven. And I think you really have to understand the matchup as Kai'Sa. The inflection points, the game, the times in the game where things pivot, tempo turns. How to work your card advantage, because typically you have like a billion cards over these mid-range players, but a billion cards is useless if you're just losing, right? So I am not surprised, but pleasantly surprised, I guess, that over-converted. Ezreal under-converted. This deck is ridiculously hard to play. I'm surprised there was even 4.5%. Like, there's probably 5 people in Riftbound right now that can play this deck properly, and every single one of them made day 2, of course, but this deck is extremely hard to play, and it's slow. Like, you have to be fast, and I don't just mean play fast. Like, Alan ZQ talks about this on his stream all the time, like hand dexterity, hand motion, just the way you resolve your cards. This deck is incredibly hard to play. Victor, control deck, we're always going to see this, right? It has a decent mid-range Draven matchup. Auto beats some of the random ephemeral B-tier decks just single-handedly with its legend, right? Make a dude, kill a guy, pass. Like, you could beat a lot of decks just doing that. Sivir, this is another deck that I think is really hard to play, not only from the Miracle Engine, but just using your cards efficiently, using your power efficiently, getting the gold back, knowing when, why, and how to sequence things. This is another deck that I just don't think most people can play. So I'm not surprised that we see this kind of conversion here. Now, Ornn. 52 people brought Ornn, and 3 of them made day 2. And I am surprised 3 made day 2. This deck is buns. Like, that's just, it is what it is. I'm surprised even 3 made it. This should be a 0, but who knows? Could have been their bracket run, right? Azir popped off pretty well. Converted almost exactly to its representation. Lucian, I actually expected this to be a bit higher. There are some builds that have pretty okay matchups into mid-range Draven and even some of the Miracle decks, especially because you can punish them, because the Miracle decks specifically usually take, turn 3 is when they really want to pop off, so they have 6 mana. And Lucian can really punish that by just, by time they start playing their cards, Lucian, in a perfect world situation, should be at anywhere from 4 to 5 points. And you can just out-tempo them, right? Just You're just never interacting with their card. You're just doing the thing. And especially, if you hit Camel on curve, make him huge, life gets pretty good there. So this is pretty expected. Fiora. This is another one that I expected to kind of underconvert here. This deck is like really bad into Draven. You could like optimally get it to little worse than a coin flip, but that's mid-range specifically. And this deck just can't beat Miracle, right? You're playing a hook deck, and it's like, I don't know. I don't really want to elaborate on this too much. It's a fine metal card deck. I love Fiora. I'll put a picture of a graded card here I got from the PCG guys. Absolutely fantastic experience with them. If you want to grade cards, Riftbound specifically, check out their website. Get stuff graded through them. Make sure you let them know that Nova sent you. No, this isn't sponsored, but I think there's some cool guys doing some cool stuff. So the next and last one I want to talk about is Rek'Sai. This deck owned 44 day 1, 12 day 2, 2% overconverted, 27, 28, I don't know, some close percentage there of the people playing Rek'Sai made day 2. Over a quarter of the Rek'Sai players made day 2. That is insane. This deck is a lot better than people thought it was. I mean, it's a control aggro deck, right? Like, you just go fast, you kill your dudes, kill their dudes, and you get benefited for it. So, very cool deck. And the best of guy played the yellow Rek'Sai and was swarmed. Like, he posted a picture in the Discord. I'll see if I can find it while I'm editing this, where he had like 50 dudes on the board and played an Undertight, and it's like, okay, you just can't beat that. It's really funny. It's high rolly, but performed well, obviously. And I got slimed in my round 8 by a Rek'Sai, so we can talk about that. Everything else here is pretty expected. MF, right? Like, you got to see Aurora. The deck does nothing. Yasuo. This is worse Irelia. I love the deck, but pretty expected. And then Volibear. I got to talk about these because both of my homies are the people who made day 2 on Volibear. E3 TCG, very good friend of mine. That's my brother, right? Made day 2, and then my teammate Laggy made day 2, and they were fighting each other all day. It came down to breakers. E3 in the end had just I think he won by half a percentage point in terms of breakers. Absolutely incredible storyline there. I'll be sure to link his video down below so you can go check it out. He covers it much more in depth. Yeah, and I don't really have much to talk about in the best of decks. I think this Jax deck was really cool. And these cards right here probably won him a lot of games. Like, these two very specifically probably won a lot of games. Same with the Brutalizer math. People aren't very good at doing math. That's why we have to have pictures on our cards. And the fact that Brutalizer becomes Spinning Axis, it's insane. But these right here are broken cards. There's a lot of stuff in this deck that I don't like. I don't know that Camel is real. This card's kind of ass unless you explicitly see it perfectly on curve. And even then, would you rather just not play 3 Aphelios and like do your broken thing where you're ramping and getting rewarded for just playing your deck? But he made top 8. I didn't. So just my thoughts on it. The rest of these lists are pretty cool. Prismaticism, of course, on Mo's Miracle deck. I thought that this was the best deck potentially going into it. Especially if you make top 8, you want the deck that can do the broken thing and also has the highest of high rolls. So, not surprised there. Colin, of course, this guy, I tell people all the time, playing Draven, no glaze. If you want to get better at playing any Draven deck, watch Colin's VODs. This guy does not make misplays. He always takes the optimal line, and he always knows what threat ranges to play around and what cards to make your opponent, what cards you have to put your opponent on at what times. This guy is absolutely incredible on Draven. No glaze. Challenger TCG are my boys, so. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Sam's list. This guy owned. Like, this was... The finals just didn't even feel close. You can go watch them for yourselves, but this guy owned. 3 Ferris. A lot of Ferris. He's a big fan of the 3-evs, and then 2 Spinning Axes. Or, 2 Ride the Wind. Very greedy. And it obviously did well for him. I love this card. I play this at one of in most of my Draven decks. I especially like it game 1 where it's you play it, and then for the whole rest of the match, your opponent has to play around it, which forces them into some odd sequencing situations, which you could really take advantage of with the rest of your deck. Opted for the 2 Falling Stars main. And is this no Piercing Light? Okay. I love the 1 hard bargain. Yep. 1 main, 1 side. Looks like he was on the last right, which is something that my team was thinking about and testing pretty heavily going into this event, having the last rights on the side. It's just much better than assembly rig, and he's already got the 3 Ferris in the main, so more posterity there. So let's talk about my run. So I ended the event X3. I was having a very good day, and then the last 2 rounds, I got absolutely positively slimed. I lost them fair and square. It is what it is. I didn't get cheated. I didn't get time, cucked. I had nothing like that. But these guys just absolutely slimed me. It was very unfortunate. So we'll go through it now. So round 1, I won 2-0 against a Rumble player. His name was Quinn. I'm playing 2 rebukes, and the best card in his deck is Ferris Forerunner, right? It is what it is. Notes I have was game 1, Kaisa too strong, and game 2, Kaisa ride the win, draw 50 cards, right? It's about as you expect the Rumble matchup to go. Lost the die roll. So round 2 versus Bailey Kim, and his real name was Bentley, on Lucian. I lost the die roll again. I won 2-1. So game 1, my comments I won was nothing to add. Okay. Game 2, I saw no removal, no good interaction. So that's the notes I have. It looks like it was a very close game. I was at 7, he won at 8 off of a double conquer. And then game 3, I went from 2 to 8, and he ended the game with 1 point. And the notes I have was Ferris carry. So I guess he couldn't find the punch first to get over Ferris. Or if he did, it floated. That's how Ferris Forerunner does, man. Love that card. It's very good situationally. I have mixed feelings about it. Round 3, I played against Ming on Kaisa. Lost the roll again. You'll find that this is a commonality here in my gameplay. I absolutely got smoked game 1. I ended on 4 points, and he held the 6. And then my notes are, I drew all Darius's and Kaisas. So it happens, right? Whatever. Game 2, Treasure, Hoarder, and Bryn here. I guess I just made a billion power and just shut him out, wrapped it up with Bryn here. Yeah, looks like I wrapped up the game with 8 points, and he was at 3. So, and then game 3, I won. I played this really well. Looks like my notes were I baited a Singularity with a bargain from Verbal Cues. I probably said something out loud like, man, I get absolutely smoked by Singularity here, but I got to put you on it. And I played it, left 2 up. He played the Singularity, and it was cookies from there. Round 4 against Froden. Looks like I lost the die roll again. Wow, 0-4 in die rolls. He was on set. Switch this over here. And this was game 1 and 2. Excellent games. Like I would love to go play these games. There was probably some lines that I took that were a bit greedy, but I think you may have to do that against Solution to kind of even out that early point tempo. For context, I was on mid-range Draven. I'll put a deck list up, of course, at the end of this. Probably should have done that. Game 1 looks like he won. I was at 7 points. He was at 8. Very close game. Looks like my notes were draw poor. He drew average. I guess there was a turn where I should have played 2 drops instead of a Kaisa to just go wider to play around some removal. But after thinking about it in the end, talking it over with my team, I don't think this would have made a difference. It was just game was too far gone by the time I could really start actually playing. Game 2, another very, very close game. I didn't have any notes here. Looks like it was just a grind fest. He ended at 6. I won with 8, of course. And then game 3, absolutely positively slimed me. He draws his cards and goes, eyes get a little wide. So Froden, if you're watching this, you got to tell, buddy. Eyes go wide, and he goes, I'll keep. And puts his hand down. I'm like, ah, shit, sick. I ended the game with 2 points, and he absolutely cooked me at 8. So, and the notes I have were removal everywhere. I drew slightly below average, and he drew a custom hand. Yeah, it is what it is, right? It was an excellent match. I got a picture with him. I'll put up here. Good time. Round 5. Oh my God, we won a die roll, boys. We won a die roll. So this was against Jessica, very nice lady, and she was on Renata. So this was a 2-1. Looks like the notes I have. Oh, I was at 8 and she was at 1. Too fast, too much draw. Looks like I drew a bunch of cards, developed a bunch of really good units. Game 2, I ran out of units. She resolved a triple singularity, which is absolutely disgusting. It was still a close game. She won at 8. I was at 6. And then game 3, I have no notes for. She ended the game at 3 points, and I had 8 off of a double hold. So must not have been a particularly close game 3, which is kind of what you'd expect out of the Renata game, right? Massively favored. Gets even better post board. Round 6, I played against Grappler, apparently a pretty popular YouTuber slash streamer. I'll put his info down below. This guy was my favorite opponent out of the whole event. Like, probably the nicest human ever. So check his stuff out. He was competing for the best of Lux. Didn't get it, but he was very close. So I win the roll again. We're making it happen here, gentlemen. So game 1, he goes Aspirants, and I lose. I held to 8, and he held to 9. So the notes I have was removal, removal, removal. Darius was exact lethal, and I had missed it on 2 draws that same turn. So either a combat or a stack deck. I didn't write down what the draws were. But Darius, if I drew the Darius, it was exact lethal for the win. I couldn't find it. Is what it is. We go to game 2, and this game was not close. He had 1 point, and I 1 to 8. And the notes I have were long. I guess it was a very long game. And then game 3, this might have been the funniest thing ever. He had 14 tokens and 2 units on a battlefield, holding at 3. And I needed to conquer. I held to 7. I needed to conquer to 8. He had 14 tokens and 2 units, so 16 units total on a battlefield. I push a mech token in. He's tapped out, by the way. He has 1 up, so like it's Stupefy or whatever, like fake mana at that point. I go in. I go against the odds, and he's like, "What does that do?" And I just like it. I probably seemed like an asshole. That was not my intent. It was just brutal that I had this card, and I flipped it around, and he read it, and he goes, "GG." Nicest guy ever. I gave him some sleeves. Hopefully he liked them. Absolutely loved my game with this guy. Round 7. This is where tragedy strikes. So I'm undefeated up until round 4. X1 through the rest of the day. Just fine. I'm mentally locked in. After every single one of my games, I tend to write notes down, as you can tell. So if I took an incorrect line, or I had a thought that maybe I took an incorrect line, I can think on it after the fact. I can fix it in my head, and then I move on to the next round. I don't want to keep previous rounds in my head because then I'm mental loaded and I'm task loaded, and I'm just not operating at 100%. So I write it down, totally forget about it, and that's what I have the notes for. I go into this, and this round shook me mentally. I was playing against Joey. His name on here is Disaster. I did win the roll, which maybe I shouldn't have, but I won the roll, and he absolutely rolled me here. So game 1, he presents Obelisk, and he opens up Sneaky Sneaky. And then after that, plays Stella. I'm like, okay. Is what it is. I had a line for exact lethal, but I needed to Bryn here Rebuke. And I had the Bryn here. I didn't have Rebuke. So if he bites and plays out all of his interactions on the Bryn here, or if he bites and does nothing, just assuming I have Rebuke and saves the cards at his hand, I have lethal because I have enough might to get over his guys. But if he dumps all the cards in his hand and puts me on I don't have Rebuke, I lose because then I can't get over his guy, and I didn't have Rebuke. But I had exactly enough for 8. I had 6 for Bryn here, 2 for Rebuke, or Fight or Flight, or whatever. Didn't have either of those because I was at 7. And he put me on no Rebuke. He played all the cards in his hand, made his Irelia enormous, and I couldn't get over it. So absolutely good call on him. Game 2, I missed a 2-drop. I missed a 2-drop into Sneaky Stellacorn Herder. And anyone who has played that matchup enough knows that it's unwinnable. Super nice guy. We had a couple judge calls, and probably one of the nicest players. You could tell he was hyper competitive like me. This is the kind of guy I think I get along very well with. Let's go to round 8, where true tragedy strikes. So I played against Daniel on Rek'Sai. I lost the roll. So I am 5 losses, 3 wins on rolls right now. And he is on red Rek'Sai, not the yellow Rek'Sai. Both games. Well, we'll start off with game 1. Game 1, missed my 2-drop. He void rushed into Falling Star to kill my Draven exactly through Spinning Axe. And he also had Call the Weak. Because turn 2, I have Kai'Sa, then I have the Draven. Next turn to I'm good. I don't just get straight up owned by Cole. But he goes, Cole, kill it. I play Draven. I have Spinning Axes in my hand. I have to leave 2 up. I had no better units to play. I didn't have a 2-drop. I didn't have Noxus, so I just left 2 up. And he goes Void Rush, Falling Star. And I'm like, oh, game's over. Once again, super nice guy. Unfortunately, he also missed the best of Rek'Sai. But you could tell by my notes here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I have a very angry face here. How can I fucking miss 2 drops in this deck? Like, I played this deck not to brick, and it was tragic. But it happens. That is nature. Nature of the game. Overall, I am pretty happy with my list, which I will pull up now. Yeah, it was a very, very generic mid-range Draven list. The only spice we had is we were on Zon Warrens instead of Targons, and I played the Scrap Heap package. This was something that a good friend of mine, Dimitri, kind of cooked up. I really liked it. Wanted more card draw that wasn't specifically reliant on combat. You'll find that a lot of the players at the top tables, or just good players in general, will have started to understand how to positively interact with combat in a way that just doesn't lose them the game. So you need more sources of card draw, and Scrap Heap Game 1 gives you that. With the Merchant. So very, very happy with how that performed this weekend. I cut down to 2 Darius. I draw this card entirely too much. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna scale it back. And unfortunately, I missed one for that lethal that game. So whatever. Very small sample size compared to a larger sample size of testing beforehand. I'm happy with my choice there. Rest of the deck is pretty self-explanatory. I decided to go with 1 Ferris because I expected to play more mirrors this weekend. As you saw, I played a grand total of 0. So I expected more mirrors, and I really don't like Ferris in 2 purple decks, obviously. That did not happen. So more Ferris in the main would have done me good. Once again, very small sample size. Hard bargain. This card was excellent every single time I had it. Love this card. Ride the win. Happy one of. Sided out game 2 and 3. They play around to the rest of the match. Beautiful card. A lot of the times you could go like Treasure Hunter, around the world, 3 gold, 2 points. Your guy's safe, especially in the mirror. You just don't have to interact with combat. Same thing with Kai'Sa. You go in, draw 2 cards. Kai'Sa's safe. So you're getting 2 cards for 2 energy and a power, and 2 points. So pretty good. Edge of Night. I was originally on 3 of this. Edge of Night was really good, especially with the merchant strategy on 9 2-drops. You could equip it, go in, trade, re-equip it, go in, trade, so on and so forth. That's another theory that friend Dimitri kind of cooked up, which I liked it a lot. But more and more testing I did, it performed slightly worse, and I wanted a switcheroo in the main specifically because I was on Treasure Hunter. And I think representing switcheroo is really good. So I did not miss more copies of this, maybe 2, but it was fine. And then 1 Falling Star in main. This was excellent. I didn't play. This was kind of to spread my equity into non-Draven matchups because I think Piercing Light is better into Draven, but Falling Star is better into everything else. And I expected to play at least 1 Ezreal, and I really like Falling Star into Ezreal. And then, obviously, Treasure Hunter. Runes, 6-6 split. Who cares? And then my sideboard. Everything in my sideboard was very good. I liked all of these cards. Unfortunately, I did not play any Miracle decks, so Invert Timelines sat in my side the whole day. It did absolutely nothing. But into Miracle decks, I think Invert Timelines is pretty good, especially 2. So the theory is 2 and 3, you don't have the Scrap Heaps to give you that extra card draw. So very often you find yourself operating on anywhere from 2 to 4 cards. Sometimes, 3, sometimes 1. And Invert Timelines can really just blow the matchup from the bottom up. If your opponent has like 8, 10, 12 cards in their hand, and you just invert Timelines, you get exact parity on the cards in your hand, and it's broken. So that was the theory behind this card. Unfortunately, I can't even say it underperformed. It just didn't perform at all because I didn't bring it in. I had no matchups where this made sense whatsoever. Yeah, it is what it is. So that was my run. Pretty disappointing. We're going to run it back this next weekend at CCS and then, of course, at Atlanta. If you are still watching and you hear this and you see me at the Atlanta RQ, come up to me, show me you're subscribed, and I will give you a pack of Pristine Protection sleeves. This is only for the people who are watching this video. And here's this part. Don't say nothing to anyone else, obviously, unless you're going to share the video out, of course. But find me at the RQ, bring it up, show me you're subscribed, and I will give you a pack of sleeves of your color choice that I have on me, of course, because I got to bring them all in my backpack. But yeah, that was my run. One last thing before we segue out of here. I did want to say I will be at Atlanta, I will be at Hartford, and I will be at Los Angeles, potentially Singapore. That's still like very up in the air right now, but I'm trying. But definitely those ones I mentioned before, as well as all of the Houston CCSs. So if you ever see me at an event, come up, say hi, get a picture. I love meeting people, have a conversation. And yeah, that is pretty much all I've got. Like, comment, subscribe, do the thing. Shout out to my sponsors, of course, TopDeck.gg and Pristine Protection. Be sure to use code NOVA10 for 10% off your checkout of any purchased item on their store. Once again, that's all I've got, and I will see you in the next one, gentlemen.